Weddings teach you a peculiar kind of awareness. Not about love, about absence. The hall was beautiful in the careful, curated way celebration spaces always are: soft lights, neutral flowers, music floating just loud enough to fill conversational gaps. Everything was exactly as it should have been. Except for the empty chairs. At first, no one mentioned them. Guests rarely do. Absence is a social discomfort people politely step around, like a stain no one wants to acknowledge during a formal dinner. My husband squeezed my hand as we moved between tables, smiling, thanking relatives, accepting congratulations. His family had filled the room with warmth, noise, easy affection. Mine had filled nothing. They must be running late. Someone whispered early in the evening. I nodded, because optimism is easier to perform than explanation. But hours passed. Ceremony dissolved into reception. Reception dissolved into dinner, and slowly, the architecture of hope began to collapse under the simple weight of reality. No parents. No sister. Not even my best friend. Every familiar face existed somewhere else. At my sister's engagement party. The symmetry of it carried a quiet cruelty no one had intended to articulate aloud. By the time we stood beside the cake, the absence had transformed. No longer expectation. Context, something structural, undeniable, humming beneath every smile captured by cameras. The photographer gestured gently. Closer. We leaned in, knife-poised applause rising. And then, light, a small rectangle glowing against white frosting. My phone, the screen illuminated with a message. We need to talk now. My mother. Below it, 52 missed calls. For a brief moment, sound disappeared. Not dramatically. Simply receded. As if the room itself had stepped backward. Concern should have been immediate. Urgency. Panic. Instead, what I felt was something far more complicated. Suspicion. Because timing, in my family, had never been accidental. Communication rarely arrived during calm moments. Only when something required. Only when something shifted. You okay? My husband murmured softly. His voice anchored me back into the room. Into the lights. Into the applause that had gently faded into uncertain murmurs. I forced a small smile. Wes, the reflex startled me. How easily composure survives even under destabilization. I stepped aside, the music resuming its indifferent rhythm behind me. My thumb hovered over the screen. Weeks of silence. Months of polite emotional distance. Years of conditional connection. All condensed into a single glowing sentence. We need to talk. Need. Such a revealing word. When I finally called back, my mother answered before the first full ring. Her voice lacked its usual measured sharpness. Where have you been? The question landed strangely, given the circumstances. At my wedding, I replied evenly. Silence. Then, abruptly, you need to come home. No congratulations, no acknowledgement, only direction, only urgency, only that familiar gravitational pull of family crisis. What happened? I asked. Another silence. Longer this time. Then, it's about your father. My stomach tightened. Because despite everything, certain emotional reflexes remain deeply wired. What about him? He's in trouble. Trouble. Another elastic word. Another one my family had mastered. Details emerged in fragments. Financial miscalculations. A loan I had never heard about. A series of decisions that somehow, improbably, required immediate intervention. My intervention. Of course. Because beneath the long-standing narrative of burden existed a quieter, less visible reality. Reliability. You're the only one who can fix this, my mother said. Fix. The word echoed strangely against the memory of empty chairs, empty seats, empty gestures of support. I leaned against the hallway wall, absorbing the full weight of the inversion. Because suddenly, absence had acquired explanation. Not neglect, prioritization, my sister's engagement. My brother-in-law's family image. The careful allocation of presence to the event perceived as more socially advantageous. And now, crisis had rearranged importance. I'm not sure I can, I said quietly. The softness of my voice surprised even me. My mother inhaled sharply. This is your family. Family. The word felt both heavy and curiously hollow. Because belonging, I realized, had always operated on fluctuating terms. conditional proximity, situational necessity. Behind me, laughter drifted from the reception hall. My husband's voice. Guests celebrating. Life continuing forward with uncomplicated momentum. In front of me sat the familiar gravitational pull of inherited obligation, of roles never formally assigned yet endlessly assumed. "I'll think about it," I said finally. Not defiant, not dramatic, just honest. And for the first time in my life, I heard something unfamiliar on the other end of the line. Uncertainty. Because my immediate compliance had always been part of the family's invisible structure. That night, long after the music faded, I lay awake beside my husband, not heartbroken, not angry, just recalibrating, because weddings, I had learned, don't merely reveal who shows up. They reveal the architecture of who believes they can call you away from your own life. And sometimes the most unsettling realization isn't abandonment itself, but the sudden recognition of your value only in its aftermath. Sleep arrived slowly, carrying with it no clear resolution, only the quiet, unfamiliar weight of a choice I had never truly considered before, whether belonging and obligation were, in fact, the same thing.